Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Annual General Meeting of Crombie REIT. This morning's meeting is being broadcast via a live audio webcast. My name is Jason Shannon. I'm a unit holder and chair of the board of Crombie REIT and will chair today's meeting. I'd like to acknowledge that we're gathering on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I acknowledge my personal responsibility to understand my role in reconciliation and commit myself to learning about Indigenous culture and heritage, challenge my own bias, and stand up when I see injustice. We are all treaty people. Thank you for making the effort to come and join us for our annual general meeting. It's great to see so many familiar faces. Joining me to my right are Mark Hawley, President and Chief Executive Officer, Kara Cameron, Chief Financial Officer, and Gavin Studdard, Senior Vice President, General Counsel, and Corporate Secretary. Gavin will act as the Secretary for today's meeting. Emma McKenzie of the TSX Trust Company will be acting as scrutineer for this meeting. Our agenda is straightforward. We'll first conduct the formal part of the meeting. Following, I'll make a few remarks, followed by Mark Hawley, and finally, we'll do our best to answer any questions you may have. I now call the meeting to order and ask the Secretary to confirm delivery of notice of this meeting and to report on the number of Crombie units and Crombie special voting units present in person or by proxy.
Mr. Chair, notice of this meeting was mailed to the trustees and unit holders on or before April 2nd, 2026. The scrutineer has advised me that we have 354 unit holders represented at this meeting either in person or by proxy, representing 55,617,700 Crombie units and 76,709,180 Crombie REIT special voting units. The units represented at this meeting carry an aggregate 70.69% of the total outstanding votes eligible for this meeting.
Thank you, Gavin. Therefore, I declare that in accordance with Crombie's amended and restated Declaration of Trust, sufficient unit holders are present either in person or by proxy, to constitute a duly convened annual general meeting of the Crombie Real Estate Investment Trust. The results of the meeting will be published following the meeting in accordance with the rules of the TSX. The minutes of the annual general meeting held last year on May the 8th were distributed at the door this morning. As the minutes have been made available, unless there are any objections, I will dispense with their reading. Are there any objections to that? Hearing none, we will proceed without reading the minutes, and unless unit holders have any comments or proposed amendments to the minutes, they will be considered final as presented. Are there any comments or proposed amendments? Hearing none, the minutes are approved as presented. As described in our Management Information Circular, which was made available to unit holders in connection with this meeting, ECL Developments Limited, which is 100% owned by Empire Company Limited, has the right to appoint up to 5 trustees. This right is contained in the REIT's Declaration of Trust and is based on the proportion of outstanding units held by ECL and the size of the board of trustees. ECL has elected to appoint 5 trustees to serve for the ensuing year. I'd like to introduce the 5 trustees who have been appointed by ECL Developments Limited and ask them to stand as I call their names. Kyle S. Hartland, Sarah McDonald, Doug Nixon, Vivek Sood, and finally Michael Dells. Thank you. In addition to the 5 appointed trustees, 7 trustees will stand for election this year at this meeting. Along with myself, I will now introduce the trustees of Crombie REIT proposed for election for the ensuing year and ask each of you to stand as I call your names. Paul Beasley, Jane Craighead, Mark Hawley, Deborah Starkman, Michael Waters, and Karen Weaver. Thank you. Is there a motion for the election of trustees for the ensuing year?
I move that the following 7 persons be nominated trustees for Crombie REIT for the ensuing year: Paul Beasley, Jane Craighead, Mark Hawley, Jason Shannon, Deborah Starkman, Michael Waters, and Karen Weaver.
Thank you, Brady. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Chair, my name is Ryan Sharp, and I'm the Director, Finance Business Partnering at Crombie and a unit holder of Crombie. I second the motion.
Thank you, Ryan. Are there any comments, questions, or additional nominations? If not, I will now call for the vote by a show of hands. You've heard the motion. All in favor? Opposed? I declare the motion carried and those names elected as trustees of the REIT to hold office until the next annual meeting of trustees or until successors are elected or appointed. In accordance with the majority voting policy for trustees, none of the foregoing trustees received more votes withheld than votes for in the proxies received by the REIT for this meeting. In regards to the appointment of auditors, is there a motion to appoint auditors for the ensuing year and to authorize the trustees to fix remuneration of the auditors?
Mr. Chair, my name is Ryan Sharp, and I'm a unit holder of Crombie. I move that PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP be appointed as auditors for the 2026 fiscal year, and that the Board of Trustees be authorized to fix their remuneration.
Thank you, Ryan. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Chair, my name is Brady Landry, and I am a unit holder of Crombie. I second the motion.
Thank you, Brady. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, I will now call for the vote by a show of hands. All in favor? Opposed? I declare the motion carried. The Board of Trustees, on the recommendation of the Human Resources Committee, has determined that it's appropriate to hold a non-binding advisory vote relating to executive compensation. Since the vote is advisory, it will not be binding on the Board. However, the Board, and in particular the Human Resources Committee, will consider the outcome of the vote as part of the ongoing review of our executive compensation. Is there a motion in this regard?
Mr. Chair, my name is Brady Landry, and I am a unit holder of Crombie. I move on an advisory basis and not to diminish the role and responsibility of the Board of Trustees that the unit holders accept the approach to executive compensation disclosed in the Management Information Circular for the Meeting of Unitholders on May 7th, 2026.
Thank you, Brady. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Chair, my name is Ryan Sharp. I'm a unit holder of Crombie, and I second the motion.
Thank you, Ryan. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote by show of hands. You've heard the motion. All in favor? Opposed? I declare the motion carried. Thank you. A copy of the 2025 annual report, the consolidated financial statements, and the auditor's report therein for the year ended December 31st, 2025 have been made available to unit holders and have also been made available at the entrance and are now placed before the meeting for consideration. Are there any questions or comments that anyone has regarding the 2025 annual report? Hearing none. This concludes the formal business of the meeting, and thank you. I'd like now to share a few moments about my perspectives on Crombie from the last year. As a proud Nova Scotian, it's a pleasure to be here again in Pictou County, where the Crombie story began. Especially meaningful this year as we mark the 20 years as being a publicly listed company. And 2025 was a standout year for Crombie. In a time of continued macroeconomic complexity, Crombie's team, led by our President and CEO, Mark Hawley, who you'll hear from shortly, delivered very strong performance. Enhancing our strong partnership with Empire, built new partnerships, and extended our track record of consistent, strong performance. Mark is now in his fourth year as CEO, and over that time, he has built a strong leadership team, focused the organization around clear, cash flow-driven strategies, and fostered a culture of discipline and execution. This year's results, including record committed occupancy, double-digit leasing spreads, strong cash flow growth, a credit rating upgrade, and an increase to our distribution, speak to the strength of our leadership. Good governance remains a cornerstone at Crombie. Our board brings a range of perspectives and deep experience to our work. Our role is to support management in delivering our strategy while ensuring rigorous oversight, thoughtful risk management, and a long-term view of value creation that is balanced and fundamental to the stewardship role that we play. This year, we saw several important transitions on the board since our last AGM. In July 2025, Heather Gray-Wolf stepped down after 2 years of service. And after 8 years of service, Jim Dixon, the chair of Crombie, finished his term. Jim has made an extraordinary contribution to Crombie. Jim's wisdom, strategic guidance, and true belief and passion for Crombie will be hard to replace. But he has left the board and management stronger and ready for our new challenges. On behalf of the board and management, I'd like to sincerely thank Jim and Heather for their dedicated service and valued contributions to Crombie during their tenures. At the same time, we are pleased to formally welcome our newest trustees, Sarah McDonald and Kyle Hartland, who joined the board in July 25, filling these vacancies left by Heather and Jim. Sarah brings 20 years of senior leadership experience and most recently served as the Chief Transformational Officer at Algonquin Power and Utility Company, where she also served as the Chief Human Resource Officer, following an extensive career at Emera, both in Canada and internationally. Kyle joins us as a partner from Stewart McKelvey, specializing in M&A, corporate finance, governance, and securities, with extensive transaction experience across Canada, and also serves on the Board of Governors of Huron University. We are fortunate to have their insight and judgment around the table. These appointments strengthen our governance framework and ensure we have the right people focused on Crombie's future through a lens of transparency, accountability, and long-term value for unit holders. Looking ahead, I am confident in Crombie's continued success with a coast-to-coast portfolio of essential real estate, a clear focus strategy, and a culture built on discipline and execution. The company is well-positioned to navigate the future. It is now my pleasure to turn the podium over to Mark Hawley, Crombie's President and Chief Executive Officer. But before I do, and Mark begins, we invite you to watch a short video highlighting the strength of our necessity-based retail portfolio and the essence of our company, which is our people. Thank you.
Crombie has achieved deliberate growth over the past 20 years, from its initial public offering of 44 properties to now well over 300. Our focus is essential real estate, specifically grocery-anchored retail centers across Canada, from Victoria to St. John's. Crombie defines its role as a curator of essential real estate, owning and operating properties at the heart of communities, centered on essential retail needs that support the residents' daily lives. Its foundation is built on three resolute pillars: balance sheet health, ensuring financial stability for sustained growth; people and culture, nurturing internal team passion with a deep commitment to community engagement; and our ESG integration, playing an active role in supporting communities through environmental, social, and governance practices. Built on a foundation of financial strength, our people, and ESG, Crombie creates value by curating quality properties, optimizing operations, and leveraging its coast-to-coast platform along with its strategic partnership with Empire. Its commitment to stakeholders ensures it remains a trusted provider of essential services, deeply integrated into the daily lives of Canadian communities. We're committed to doing it in a way that leaves a lasting, positive impact on the communities we serve. We are Canada's essential REIT.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. And thank you for everyone today who's with us, as well those that are joining virtually. Before I begin, I personally want to welcome Pierre St. Laurent. Pierre St. Laurent is Empire's President and CEO and has been with the organization more than 34 years. Thank you for joining us today. I also want to thank members of the Sobey family and other Empire leaders who are here with us in Pictou County or watching virtually. Empire has been a foundational partner since Crombie was formed, and our strategic relationship continues to be a sustained competitive advantage. Your presence today carries particular meaning, as we recently marked 20 years since Crombie became a publicly listed company. 20 years built on the alignment and shared ambitions of two organizations. Crombie went public in March of 2006, raising just over $200 million in its initial public offering. The portfolio at the time was 44 properties, 7.2 million square feet across 3 regions. The Crombie of 2006 looks very different than the Crombie today. Roughly 40% of the portfolio was enclosed malls, 15% was office, and Sobeys represented approximately 13% of our minimum rent. Fast forward today, 20 years later, Crombie has a $6.4 billion portfolio, 310 properties, over 19 million square feet, and an absolute coast-to-coast platform. But more important than the size of the portfolio is its quality. The properties we own and the tenants within them, over the years, the platform has shifted more steadily towards grocery-anchored and necessity-based retail, retail-related industrial, specifically grocery industrial, and select complementary mixed-use developments. The tenant base has also evolved alongside it. Year-ending 2025, Empire accounted for approximately 60% of our annual minimum rent, with a weighted average lease term of nearly 10 years. And more broadly, necessity-based retailers generate close to 83% of our annual minimum rent. These are the grocers and the everyday service providers that Canadians rely on. Tenants with durable cash flow and proven resilience through any economic cycle is what we're thriving for. Our footprint today stretches east to west, from Canadian major urban centers to small format communities. But whether you're in a downtown hub, whether you're in an urban neighborhood or a regional market, the role we play is exactly the same. We provide critical infrastructure for the communities. Our properties are more than an asset on a balance sheet. They are the vital hubs where Canadians live, work, shop, play, and connect every day. That foundation is what makes us the essential REIT and enables us to deliver unitholder value and durable, predictable cash flow with a consistent, reliable growth profile. Our solid 2025 results are the product of our Building Together strategy, a strategy we set in motion in 2023, and one we have executed with discipline every year since. The strategy is anchored on two simple pillars: value creation and solid foundation. Value creation is where our top-line growth comes from, through three drivers: what we own and how we operate, how we optimize it, and the role partnerships play within this organization. Our solid foundation, absolutely never to be compromised, is built on financial strength, our people and culture, and ESG. Together, the pillars guide the decisions we make and have been designed for resiliency, stability, and long-term unitholder growth. The results are bearing that out. Since implementing the strategy, we've delivered consistently strong operating results across our key focus metrics with a continued focus on cash flow growth. Importantly, this cash flow growth hasn't come at the expense of the balance sheet. We deliberately strengthened it alongside that growth. We've refinanced ahead of maturities, diversified our funding sources while growing on our unencumbered asset pool by roughly 50% to $3.9 billion over the past 2 years. It's a testament to the team's focus and dedication and the strength of our platform. Let me take a moment to highlight what the team delivered by building together. 4 consecutive quarters of record committed occupancy, ending the year at 97.7%. Commercial same property cash NOI growth of 3.7%, which is materially above our long-term annual average target of 2 to 3%. Average annual minimum rent growth of 4.8%. AFFO per unit growth of 6.5%. Not to mention a credit rating upgrade from Morningstar DBS from BBB low to BBB mid, and an increase in our distributions. So, how did we deliver these terrific results together? I'm going to frame my discussion around our 3 value creation drivers and then return to our solid foundation. The first of those drivers is what we own and how we operate. Our coast-to-coast grocery-anchored centers sit at the heart of vibrant towns, growing communities, generating consistent traffic and strong tenant demand. Grocery-anchored, necessity-based retail is a distinct asset class, resilient through any economic cycle. It's essential to Canadians and delivers durable cash flow. In 2025, demand for our space was both strong and broad. Established national retailers and emerging concepts both sought space across our portfolio, and that demand, combined with proactive leasing management and the deliberate curation of that tenant mix drove solid results. At year-end, we had 308 properties, close to that 19 million square feet, and $6.2 billion in fair value, with our core focus on grocery-anchored and grocery-related properties. Portfolio management is central to how we own and how we operate, and is particularly essential to that driver. We continue to take a disciplined approach to capital allocation in 2025, focusing on assets where we can create the most value and divesting from those that are non-core or facing long-term challenges. On the acquisition front, we continue to lean into the grocery-anchored retail opportunities, and in 2025, we were a net acquirer, in line with our core focus, adding 5 Empire-bannered grocery properties totaling 200,000 square feet, 4 in Atlantic Canada, plus our first Longo's anchored property in Ontario. We were equally disciplined on the disposition side, selling our 140,000 square foot Main Street office in Moncton, which had persistent vacancy, and Loch Lomond Place, which was non-core, non-grocery property in St. John. Our second value driver, which is optimize, is about unlocking embedded value within the existing portfolio through both non-major development and major development activity. Our non-major development program had a very active year. These projects are short-duration projects which include modernizations, intensification, small-scale redevelopment, and greenfield projects. They typically are $50 million or less and usually completed within 12 months. These programs target also yield on cost between 6 and 8%. In 2025, we completed 61 modernization projects with Empire, investing close to $38 million across that program. These projects upgrade the look, the feel, the functionality of the anchor grocery store and create a halo effect that benefits other tenants on the site. They also support the leasing portfolio across both renewals and new deals. In addition to modernizations, we successfully completed 3 land use intensifications and redevelopment projects during the year, adding close to 60,000 square feet of new GLA to the portfolio. These programs are the most consistent and repeatable lever for driving growth, and it has a long runway. Turning to major developments, our approach is deliberate and disciplined. We focus on advancing entitlements as a way to unlock value while preserving strategic flexibility regarding timing, scale, and capital deployment. The Marlstone in Halifax, a 291-unit residential building at the heart of downtown Halifax, which is built to LEED Gold and Rick Hansen Foundation certification, has a high-quality standard and is very welcome to the growing Halifax market. We have successfully secured partial occupancy and welcomed our first group of residents on May 1st. We're exceptionally proud of this accomplishment and the addition of this asset to the community and to our portfolio. Across the remainder of our major development pipeline, entitlements is the strategic focus. It preserves optionality as market conditions continue to evolve and change. It provides us flexibility regarding timing, scale, and the deployment of capital. Our third value driver is partner. In 2025, we added 2 important partnerships, one in the east and one in the west. Our partnership with Montez Corporation in Halifax and West Group Properties in Vancouver are delivering on what we set out to achieve, sharing capital and risk on larger projects, longer duration mixed-use developments, and generating a steady stream of management and development fees while unlocking embedded value of the net assets through highest and best use zoning, all of the while preserving balance sheet capacity for our core grocery-anchored platform. While these new partnerships are very important, Empire remains our foundational partnership and represents a significant competitive advantage for Crombie. At year-end, Empire occupied over 11 million square feet of our portfolio and anchored 90% of our retail properties. Our real estate priorities are closely aligned with theirs, our operational needs, and that alignment shows up across acquisitions, modernizations, land use intensification, industrial optimization, and development management services. Turning to our solid foundation, a resilient balance sheet is an enabler for everything else that we do in our strategy. and in a more volatile capital markets environment, it remains the core strategic asset and a source of resiliency for Crombie. Our unencumbered asset pool has continued to grow, reaching close to $4 billion at year-end, approximately 7% higher than last year, and part of a deliberate multi-year trajectory. This gives us meaningful flexibility to support both day-to-day operations and future investments on attractive terms. We ended the year in 2025 with debt to trailing 12 months adjusted EBITDA of 7.66 times and an interest coverage ratio of 3.39 times. The sustained improvement in our leverage profile was recognized with a credit rating upgrade from Morningstar DBRS. This was a strategic objective that we set for ourselves, and delivering on it is a testament to the discipline the financial management team has put in place and the quality of our cash flow. That upgrade, combined with the consistency of our cash flow growth, supported a one-cent increase to our annual distribution in August last year and again this year. A meaningful signal of confidence grounded in the sustainability of our underlying business. Our balance sheet is in terrific health, and we have access to diverse capital sources to continue to invest with discipline. I want to take a moment to recognize the team. Annually, we celebrate our culture by naming exceptional teammates Crombie All-Stars. These awards formally recognize those who demonstrate thought leadership, living our values, and ESG excellence. I would like to congratulate our 3 2025 winners who are here with us today. Victoria Clark for thought leadership, Kyle Quigley for living our values, and Tracy Nogler for ESG excellence. Congratulations to each of you and all our past winners. You do truly exemplify the Crombie culture and mindset. Our ESG commitments are grounded in execution and not aspiration. Guided by our climate action plan, Crombie continues to make meaningful progress in reducing operational greenhouse gas emissions and advancing our transition to a lower carbon future. In 2024, Crombie reduced total operational greenhouse gas emissions by 33% from our restated 2019 baseline. This represents an absolute reduction of approximately 124,000 tons of CO2e. I'm exceptionally proud of our climate action plan, as well as the community impact strategy that we have in place, where in 2025, Crombie invested over $500,000 in cash donations, sponsorship, in-kind support, as well as volunteering more than 3,700 hours across community-led initiatives. Our people and culture at the core of what we do. These commitments continue to be recognized externally, with Crombie most recently being named one of Atlantic Canada's top employers, Nova Scotia top employers, Canada's small and medium employers, and Canada's greenest employers. So looking ahead, Crombie enters 2026 on very strong footing, and last night we reported another solid quarter of operating and financial performance and announced a 1-cent increase to our annual distribution. As we look ahead, our focus is unwavering. We will continue to own and operate essential real estate at the heart of communities. We will deploy capital with discipline and grow cash flow while compounding long-term value for our unit holders. Before I close, a personal reflection. Earlier this year, our leadership team had the privilege of ringing the bell at the Toronto Stock Exchange to mark Crombie's 20 years as a publicly listed entity. Standing side by side with the team, celebrating not a number, but a body of work, was one of the more meaningful moments I had as a CEO. To every member of the Crombie team, at the TSX that day, or celebrating at one of our offices across the country, I thank you. The discipline, the execution, the commitment you bring to the business is what turns our strategy into results. To our Board of Trustees, thank you for your steady hand, your continued stewardship, and rigorous oversight that you bring to the table. Your judgment and support have been invaluable as we have executed on our strategy, and our results this year reflect the strength of that alignment. To Empire, our largest tenant, our foundational partner, which is a relationship that has shaped Crombie from day one, thank you for the ongoing partnership and the shared ambition we have together. And finally, to our unit holders, thank you for your trust. We remain focused on creating long-term value for you. Thank you all for coming today, I'll now turn the call back.
Thank you, Mark. Well done. Now we'll be pleased to answer your questions. As I mentioned at the opening, this meeting is being webcast. Therefore, I'll divide the questions and answers into two sections, in person and by phone.
Participants on the conference call may press star then 1 to join the question queue.
This is where the operator is supposed to kick in. I don't hear her. Are there any questions from the floor? Hearing none, we'll have to follow up with the operator. Make sure there's no questions from the
The host would like you to unmute your microphone. You can press
having
star 6
said that there's no questions, I'll now have a motion to terminate the meeting.
Mr. Chair, my name is Ryan Sharp. I'm a unit holder of Crombie.
The host would like you to unmute your microphone.
Thank you, Ryan.
You
Is
can
there a
press
seconder?
star 6 to unmute.
Mr. Chair, my name is Brady Landry, and I'm a unit holder. I second the motion.
Thank you, Brady. You've heard the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. I declare the meeting terminated. Now, thank you all again for being here today, and I invite you all to the foyer, and we have some light refreshments. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the management of Crombie, thank you. We really appreciate your attendance to the meeting today and your ongoing support. And please travel home safely. Thank you.